everyone, I'm Helen H. I'm a children's book author and illustrator. I have written, illustrated, and self-published 10 picture books. Some of them have been bestsellers on Amazon. And I'm on my way to traditional publishing. So I want to share my experience and thoughts on both sides. A little bit of a disclaimer. This video is for beginners and mainly for children's picture books. This genre highly relies on illustrations, and the printing quality of the physical book is very important. For other genres, such as adult novel or cooking books, it might be very different. The first question to ask yourself: do you want to publish this one book or to make a career from writing? Traditional publishing involves submission to agents, usually with many rejections, and then hopefully being accepted. The agent will submit the manuscript to publishers, usually with a number of rejections, and then hopefully a contract is signed. And then the book will go through more edits, revisions, and hopefully will eventually being published and available on bookstores. Obviously, this process can take years to get published, and many never get published at all. If you only want this single book out in the market, it makes sense that you go for the self-publishing. But if you see yourself making a career from writing, you have to know that all the revisions, rejections, the slow process are just a part of this career choice. Being an author, especially an established author, is one of the very few jobs in the world that can give you this high level of creativity, independence, freedom, and respect. And this slow process is just an integral part for writers to hone their crafts, improve their writing skills, and build a network with editors and agents. For the traditional route, usually writers will work on several manuscripts at the same time. So after they seal the deal for the first book, usually it's much easier for them to make deals for their next books. Second question to ask yourself: is this book mostly for a very specific group or for a national audience? If you want to create a book for a very specific or limited market, such as the local market or your family or a small niche market that you know exactly how to reach, then self-publishing the 100 or 500 or 1,000 copies of a book may be the best approach. On the other hand, if a book has a national audience, it's extremely difficult to publish it effectively unless you publish it traditionally. For example, you want to make a goodnight picture book featuring your child. The reason to make your child the main character is that you think your child is the cutest kid in the world, which I certainly believe so. But if you want this book to have a national audience, the first thing to consider is not how cute your child is, but how your book can stand out among all the goodnight picture books out in the market. Sometimes to use an unusual animal as the main character might be a better idea. Sometimes to use many kids rather than one kid as the main character may make the book more attractive to a broad audience. And speaking of broad audience, another issue for self-publishing is that it won't even get a book into bookstores or libraries. Companies providing self-publishing services usually claim their books are available to Barnes & Nobles, but it doesn't mean that their books will be on shelves in bookstores. It means that their books are listed in databases from which the customers can order. Since there will be thousands of titles from self-publishing companies, their books won't get to bookstores unless someone orders them. For big picture books, usually customers need to pay around $20 for a book they can finish in 5 minutes. So it's kind of like pricey. Being on bookstores, and bookshelves and libraries to let parents and teachers and children to feel the book first can tremendously increase the chance they make a purchase later. Also, educators and librarians who introduce books to children are using trade publications, reviews, and other traditional methods to guide their selections. Self-published authors need to have a very high level of proficiency in the publishing industry to get this much of attention. Third question to ask yourself: what kind of budget you'd like to put into the book? Very briefly, to get your book published, you need to get your book edited, designed, printed, reviewed, promoted, and distributed. A traditional publisher will do all this for you, which is difficult and expensive for individuals to do alone. For traditional publishing, there are no upfront financial costs, and there is usually some kind of advance against the royalties. You don't have to pay anyone to get a traditional publishing deal, and if you are asked for money, then it is not a traditional publishing deal. It's likely to be a vanity publisher, and you should be very careful. For self-publishing, there's no advance, and you need to pay all the edit, design, illustration, and printing by yourself. For children's book, the illustrations are very important, and the book design and the printing quality play a very important role in the reading experience. Then another issue comes up: who is going to do the quality control of the book to make sure it is professionally edited, illustrated, and designed? If you are a first-time author, usually you have little to no knowledge of what a professionally published book looks like. And if you hire professionals, these professionals are actually working for you, and you are the boss to judge whether they do a good job or not. Since you are not a professional in these areas, your knowledge already sets a limit on how well your book can do. If you are lucky, you might still get a good book, but usually it's hard to compete with those traditional published. Unless you have been in traditional publishing and know each step thoroughly, or have put a high budget to hire the top editor, illustrator, book designer, and art director from the industry. Fourth question to ask yourself: how much of an entrepreneur are you? For a successful picture book, it needs 3 elements. First, a good story with good illustrations. Second, a good design with quality printing. Third, good marketing and publicity. Becoming a self-published author means you are fully responsible for your book's success. You need to understand the design and editing process and how sales and distribution work. Compared to traditional publishing, self-publishing can give you the chance to get into the marketing stage very soon. A successful self-published author must have some level of proficiency and comfort with marketing. You need to show up and be familiar with how books get promoted and marketed in both online and the local markets. For traditional publishing, editors, cover designers, formatters, and possibly at least some level of marketing help is provided by the agent or the publisher as part of the contract. Marketing efforts for a publishing company are usually to bookstores rather than customers. The publishing companies usually have sales team to take books to bookstores, and many authors say they only want to write, so that's why they want a publisher to handle the rest of the marketing for them. Today, traditional publishers also expect authors to do more and more marketing on their end. In short, if you only have one book, targeted to a specific group, or you have a budget and are willing to be an entrepreneur, self-publishing might be a good choice for you. If you like to make a career from writing, then traditional publishing might be a better choice, even it's much slower. Of course, everyone's situation and expectations are different. Feel free to comment below with any questions or thoughts you might have. I would love to share my thoughts on your situation. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed my video. Please share, like, or comment below, and I will see you next time. Bye!